Murdaugh. My wife and child are shot badly.
What is your name?
My name is Alex Murdaugh.
A sprawling southern estate, cloaked in shadows and silence. 2 gunshots shattered the night air, echoes of a brutal betrayal beyond the grand facade. Margaret Maggie Murdaugh, matriarch and guardian of a century-old legal empire, lay dead near her cherished hunting dogs. Just steps away, her son Paul's life was extinguished in cold blood. For generations, the Murdaugh family wasn't just a name, they were the law itself. They ruled South Carolina's Lowcountry with untouchable power, controlling courts, communities, and destinies. But on June 7, 2021, their empire of respect turned to ruins of corruption, greed, and violence. Alex Murdaugh, the heir to this dynasty, was the one who called 911, the devoted husband, the trusted attorney. Yet, beneath the charm, a terrible truth waited to be unearthed. A story of addiction and deception so dark it would shock a region and unravel a family's legacy forever. This is the dark truth. We don't just tell stories, we expose the dark truths beneath the surface. Watch the full video for the full unraveling of the Murdaugh dynasty, and don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and keep the story alive. To understand how Alex Murdaugh became a killer, we must first understand the empire he inherited, an empire built on power, corruption, and the willingness to destroy anyone who stood in their way. In 1920, Randolph Murdaugh Sr. became the circuit solicitor for South Carolina's 14th Judicial District. 3 generations of Murdaughs controlled criminal justice across 5 counties. They didn't just influence the legal system, they owned it. Locals called it Murdaugh Country. By the time Alex Murdaugh was born in 1968, he wasn't just inheriting money and property. He was inheriting a century-old criminal enterprise disguised as respectability. Alex Murdaugh seemed destined for greatness. Tall, charismatic, and bearing the family name, he glided through the University of South Carolina Law School and joined the family firm in the 1990s. Unlike his ancestors who operated from the shadows, Alex craved the spotlight. He became the public face of the Murdaugh dynasty, representing high-profile clients, winning massive settlements, and living the life of a Southern aristocrat. But behind the charm and success, something was rotting inside Alex Murdaugh. February 24, 2019, a night that would set in motion the events leading to double murder. Alex's younger son, Paul, just 19 years old, was drunk and belligerent as he piloted the family's boat through the dark waters near Beaufort, South Carolina. On board were 5 friends, including 19-year-old Mallory Beach, whose only crime was trusting a Murdaugh. Paul had used his older brother Buster's ID to illegally purchase alcohol earlier that evening. Witnesses later testified that Paul was aggressive, violent, and completely out of control. He shoved his girlfriend, spit on her, and slapped her just minutes before the crash. When friends begged him to let someone else drive, Paul refused. After all, he was a Murdaugh. Rules didn't apply to him. At 2:17 a.m., Paul slammed the boat into a bridge piling at full speed. The impact ejected Mallory Beach into the black, freezing water. She was never seen alive again. But what happened next reveals everything you need to know about Murdaugh family corruption. While search teams desperately looked for Mallory, Alex Murdaugh appeared at the hospital where the injured passengers were being treated. Hospital staff later testified that Alex went from room to room, coaching the surviving passengers about what to say to police. Security guards reported overhearing Alex on the phone saying, "She's gone. Don't worry." Think about that. While a teenage girl was drowning in freezing water, Alex Murdaugh was already orchestrating a cover-up to protect his son. 8 days later, volunteers found Mallory Beach's body 5 miles downstream from the crash. She had drowned alone in the dark, terrified and calling out for help that would never come. Paul's blood alcohol level was 0.24, 3 times the legal limit. He was eventually charged with 3 felony counts, including boating under the influence causing death. But Paul Murdaugh would never face trial for Mallory Beach's death, because 2 years later, someone executed him with a shotgun. Gloria Satterfield had been more than just a housekeeper to the Murdaugh family. For over 20 years, she'd been like a second mother to Alex's sons, Buster and Paul. She knew their secrets, their habits, their darkest moments.
911, where's your emergency?
4147 Roseville Road.
What's going on out there?
My housekeeper has fallen and her head is bleeding. I cannot get her up. She's still going up the steps, up the brick steps.
Okay, so is she outside or inside?
Outside.
Okay, is she on the ground or is she up near the
She's
top?
on the ground. She's on the ground. She's on the
Is she
ground.
conscious?
No, not really.
In February 2018, Gloria died at the Murdaugh home in what was initially called a tragic accident. Alex told first responders that Gloria had tripped and fallen down the stairs after one of his dogs got tangled in her legs. It seemed like a believable accident until investigators started digging deeper. In May 2023, Alex Murdaugh admitted in court documents that he had invented the critical facts about Gloria's death. There were no dogs involved. Gloria's supposed statement about the dogs tripping her, a statement only Alex claimed to have heard, was a complete fabrication. But Alex's lies about Gloria's death weren't just cruel. They were profitable. He convinced Gloria's sons to file a wrongful death lawsuit against him, supposedly to help them get insurance money. What the Satterfield family didn't know was that Alex had secretly pocketed the entire $3.8 million settlement. While Gloria's sons struggled financially after losing their mother and their source of income, Alex used their tragedy to fund his drug addiction and lavish lifestyle. The question that haunts investigators to this day: was Gloria Satterfield's death really an accident, or did she know too much about Alex Murdaugh's crimes? At around 8:44 p.m., Paul Murdaugh was recording a video at the family's dog kennels. The video captured something Paul never intended: his father, Alex's voice in the background, proving Alex was at the kennels just minutes before the murders. This video would later become the key evidence that destroyed Alex's alibi and sent him to prison for life. At approximately 9 p.m., someone walked up to Paul Murdaugh and fired a shotgun blast into his chest, then a second blast that nearly decapitated him. 20 feet away, Maggie Murdaugh heard the shots and began running toward her son. She never made it. The killer fired 5 shots from a high-powered rifle, striking Maggie in the back, chest, and finally, execution style, in the back of her head as she lay dying. The brutality was beyond comprehension. This wasn't a robbery or a random crime. This was personal. This was family annihilation. At 10:07 p.m., Alex Murdaugh called 911. "I've been gone," he told the dispatcher, his voice quivering with what sounded like genuine shock and grief. "I just came back and they're both dead." But even as Alex played the role of devastated husband and father, investigators noticed something strange.
Sir, I wanted to let you know because of the scene, I did go get a gun and bring it down here.
It's in your vehicle? Do you have any guns on you at all?
No, sir. It's leaning up against the side of my car.
Okay. You're fine, man. You're fine. Turn around for me.
I don't have any guns.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son?
And son.
Okay.
Despite claiming he'd tried to check his wife and son's pulses, despite saying he'd touched their blood-soaked bodies, Alex Murdaugh was completely clean. His hands were spotless. His clothes looked fresh from the laundry. It was as if he'd never touched them at all. For 20 months, Alex Murdaugh maintained his innocence. He told anyone who would listen that he'd been napping at the house when someone, presumably enemies of the family, had murdered his beloved wife and son. He played the grieving widower perfectly, attending funerals, giving interviews, and demanding justice for his family. But investigators were building an airtight case against him. Paul's cell phone video proved Alex was at the kennels just minutes before the murders, completely destroying his alibi.
Get back! Get back!
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba. This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Did you hear any other voices when you were on the phone with Paul about 8:40?
I did.
And what voices did you hear?
Paul's, Miss Maggie, Miss Taylor.
And how sure are you now?
Positive.
100%?
That's correct.
Can you point out Alex Murdaugh, the person whose voice you recognize in this video in this courtroom, please?
Sitting right there in the gray jacket.
Cell phone data showed Alex had made frantic calls to Maggie in the hours before her death, calls she never answered because she was already dead. When Alex finally took the stand in his own defense in February 2023, the mask finally slipped. Under withering cross-examination, he admitted to decades of lying and stealing. He confessed to robbing his clients, his law firm, and even Gloria Satterfield's grieving sons. But most damaging of all, he finally admitted he'd lied about his whereabouts on the night of the murders. But it was too late for apologies. The jury had heard enough. On March 2nd, 2023, after just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found Alex Murdaugh guilty on all counts, 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of weapons charges. Judge Clifton Newman sentenced him to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The Murdaugh name, once synonymous with power and prestige, will now forever be associated with murder, theft, and betrayal. And Alex Murdaugh, the man who thought he was above the law, will spend eternity behind bars, exactly where he belongs. Remember to subscribe The Dark Truth for more investigations into the cases that shocked the world. Hit that notification bell and join us as we continue to uncover the dark truth behind the headlines. Because sometimes the most dangerous predators hide behind the most respectable facades.